Hey everyone, this is my guide to becoming Darth Maul in Elden Ring, and we're gonna get right to the stuff you probably came for first, like the armor and the weapon that I use, and then get right into other options, especially for early game, as well as how to use this build most effectively. First off, I use a mix of different armors for my Maul build. I run Fia's hood, which you get from killing Fia. You're given a choice to kill her or let her go. I killed her so I could get her hood for the build because I have my priorities set straight. Next, I have the Knight's Cavalry chest piece. You can pick this up by defeating some of the Knight's Cavalry in the snow region and getting their armor. Now you could run their gloves and their boots. I just feel like it doesn't really work as well, seeing as it's more armor pieces than anything else. So for the gloves and the boots, I found that the Perceptor's armor and boots seem to be the most neutral and a good way to round off this Darth Maul look. You can find these on Celovus's body during the Ronnie questline when you kill him in whatever way you see fit. He's kind of a douchebag, so it's not really that big of a deal. Now to the weapon I'm using. I'm using Eleanor's pole blade. This weapon can be found by completing Yura's questline, which involves traveling to multiple locations to kill NPCs and talking to Yura along the way. It's a long trek to get this weapon, but if you have some help along the way, you should be able to get to it relatively early. So as far as the talismans are concerned, I don't have the optimal talismans on right now for my Darth Maul build, so I can't really show it off that well. However, I feel like there are several different combos of talismans that you could have together to be able to provide the most optimum build for you. Some of these include the Winged Sword Insignia, which raises attack powers with successive attacks. One of my favorites is Assassin's Crimson Dagger, critical hits restore HP. One of my very much recommended ones is Green Turtle Talisman. This raises your stamina recovery speed considerably. Seeing as you're going to be doing a lot of blood buildup and blood damage, Lord of Blood's Exaltation is really powerful here. Basically, blood loss in the vicinity increases your attack power. Erdtree's Favor is always a really good go-to. It raises your maximum HP, stamina, and equipment load. And of course, if it's not obvious enough, the Twin Blade Talisman is a great choice as well. It enhances the final hit of the chain attacks, although that can be a little up in the air sometimes as far as if you actually hit that final hit of the chain attack. But if you note that you are hitting these consistently, I would definitely recommend the Twin Blade Talisman. So these are the stats that I have for my level 100 Darth Maul build, in accordance with using my preferred weapon, Eleanor's pole blade. I started off as a wretch, but you can always redo your points once you defeat Renala at the Raya Lucaria Academy later in the game, so don't get too hung up on what class you want to choose in the beginning. I keep a decent amount of points over in my Vigor, as this build will be taking quite a bit of hits as you get your combos off, and you'll lose health pretty quick without some support. Mind is definitely a secondary stat, however, it is really good to be able to have a decent amount of points in there as well, because you'll be wanting to use that blood dance quite a bit with this build. Not only is it really cool to use and fits the Darth Maul feel, but it also breaks poise very easily and causes hemorrhaging if you can hit a full combo the majority of the time. I also recommend having at least one of your flasks as a cerulean flask to accommodate for the use of the blood dance ability. Endurance is important for this build, but I find with the appropriate talismans and mindful approach, it's not as high of a priority right off the bat. You can always put more points into it later if you find yourself having a hard time managing it. My strength is set at 12, the base minimum required for me to use Eleanor's pole blade. Nothing I have scales with strength, and it's not a key feature of this build. Dexterity does have a decent scaling with Eleanor's pole blade and is worth putting a decent amount of points into. However, I've found more success prioritizing other points in other areas. The pole blade does have a required amount of dex at 21, so make sure you have that in check if you plan on using this weapon effectively. Intelligence, I have no need for this in this build as magic is not a priority, so just keep it at whatever the minimum is set for your character. Faith, along with strength, is put to 12 to accommodate for personal choices and incantations. I need 12 for both Blood Flame Blade as well as Flame Cleanse Me, which I have found to be an invaluable incantation for many parts of the game moving forward. Finally, Arcane, the mysterious skill that rarely sees the light of day, is incredibly important. Arcane not only sets your discovery items higher, which isn't super important here, but still worth noting, but it increases the amount of blood buildup your weapon will apply on successful hits with the pole blade. This is very important, and it helps this build truly become the powerhouse I've seen it perform as. Now, I realize not everyone will be able to have access to these items I mentioned, and I have some solutions for those who are just starting Elden Ring and want to get into this build ASAP. It's not perfect, but it can still work for the purpose of the build. I would recommend going with the Confessor right off the bat. The stats aren't terrible, and at the end of the day, it has the exact thing that you need for Fashion Souls, or I guess Fashion Ring. So you're mostly choosing this character for immediate granting of that armor and the fact that you get a finger seal immediately. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it is probably the best armor you can get right off the bat that resembles Darth Maul. Next, as soon as you're done with the tutorial and figure out how to play, you'll want to go to the first 3 graces, talk to Melina, and get the Torrent. Now return back to the first grace site and proceed east to the Dragon Burnt Ruins. There will be a wall that you can only jump over if you have Torrent, and that will lead you down deeper into the ruins, into a chest with the Twin Blade in it. This weapon actually scales surprisingly well for being available so early in the game. Finally, this will be the longest part of this early build, getting the Blood Flame Incantation. In order to get this incantation, you have to head past the castle and go to the Blood Rose Church, which won't be visible on your map right away, which makes it all the more fun to find. Make your way over there and you'll see a scarab behind the church. Kill it and claim your Blood Flame Incantation. Something to note for this build is that there are going to be plenty of enemies and bosses that you are great at killing. And then there's going to be a lot of enemies that you are terrible at killing. But stand strong and remember to have fun. At the end of the day, you're doing a theme build and there are inherent challenges that come with that. But it should be a good time playing either way. Finally, I'll show you these screenshots of how I made the face of Darth Maul in the character creator screen, and I'll have the values listed out in the description as well. I really appreciate you guys for all the love and support that I've been receiving on the videos and the live streams, and I hope to be able to see everyone more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and share this with a friend you think would love to be Darth Maul in Elden Ring. I'm live on Twitch Monday through Saturday, and you can catch me live on TikTok most days of the week as well. I hope to see you there. That's all I have for this video. Until next time, Smiths, continue exploring.